High School, if you look outside, it's very traditional. To me, it's the nucleus of Bristol. What's timeless about Tennessee High School is the traditional look of it.
Architecturally speaking, we have those columns at the front of Tennessee High School.
We're in a beautiful historic school here. And when people see it from the front, they think it's a church.
There's lots of history involved with Tennessee High.
I'm Charles Moore, and I'm class of 1977. We're the Vikings, and it's a very long tradition of the axe and the shield. It was built in the 30s, and my aunt was the first graduating class in the new building in 1940. What I love about it is the Bristol, Tennessee school system has kept the history of this building. The stone castle was built in the 30s as part of the works WPA by President Roosevelt, and they used rocks to build it, not only to keep the Viking castle, look to it, but also the rocks came out of Beaver Creek, which runs right down at the foot of the hill where we are at the high school.
There's a mystique about the castle.
People come through here, it's funny, and they'll stop and just take a picture because it's really a historical figure out there.
What other stadium is that grand? And to think that all those stones were put together by people who experienced a great deal of hardship, who needed a job, who needed that inspiration, and yet they created something wonderful out of it. It's just fantastic.
Even though I don't have a brick on the legacy wall out here, I know that I'm a part of the Viking family.
Over the years, the stadium has changed some, like they've got artificial turf in it now, but it's still the same stadium. That's what I love about it. When you go to other high schools, they have aluminum stands, and it's just kind of a little stadium sitting out in the middle of a field, but nobody has one like we do. 1969 team was 5-5, lost to Virginia High. 1968 team was 4-6, lost to Virginia High. So it was not, lost to Johnson City, lost to Kingsport, just lost, not really anything to write home over. And then all of a sudden, the stars aligned and we became this superpower. It is nothing. We became this state power. The 1972 was national, they were declared national champions. When we came in fall of 73, Tennessee High had just come off back-to-back state championships. There had been 3 straight undefeated seasons, and 2 of which were state champions. And so we were riding in on this huge sports wave. And then all of a sudden it was over. My freshman year when we lost to Johnson City, it just poofed away. The VT week was just the best. And the VT game dates back all the way to the 20s. It's 100, it almost had 100 years. The whole school would be decorated. Each club, like your Spanish club, would have a hall. And you'd come back Monday morning, the whole school was transformed into VT week. And so every night there'd be a bonfire, like on Thursday night, and a big pep session Friday, and all week it was just building to this. And then the parade would be Friday afternoon down State Street, and they'd have their parade. You see, they were doing the same thing. The Bristol Stone Castle was their home field as well as ours. So the VT game was always here. And I can remember, I always thought Virginia High was I was just kind of in awe of them because, we didn't ever see them play except you're in the VT game. You just didn't know. You didn't go to their games, and they didn't come to our games. But then when we played them, it was like this foreign team that had come in. And it was so interesting because here they were in Bristol, but it was almost like they weren't at the same time. Tennessee High started winning. They just couldn't compete with us. And so that started the tilt way over toward our side, and what's led to them not wanting to play anymore. We just had good times. We weren't innocent by any means, but we weren't bad either. We were just, what would be the word? Mischievous. We were mischievous, even back then, 1974. My senior year, I knew the yearbooks were late that year. I don't know why they were late. And so everybody was just in absolute turmoil over why the yearbooks weren't here. So we got 2 boxes and went down the hall between classes saying the yearbooks were in, but the boxes were empty. And it caused a riot out in the front hall. I got in a lot of trouble. and by the principal. And so, pranks like that, which were innocent but did cause trouble. We were mischievous. Those are some timeless things.
Viking Hall was being built back in the 70s, so I was really little. But I remember going and watching basketball games when they used to play at Vance. I graduated from Tennessee High in 1989. It's so funny because it really hasn't changed much, the inside. And it's funny how much you forget, and then you come in and you remember things that happened. You remember where your locker was and things like that. That's so neat. A lot of the social studies classes were still where they are now. So I had a lot of classes there. English was upstairs when I was here. Math, I had math classes. Some of the math classes were downstairs, and then I had math at the end here. I actually had driver's ed right over here in those same simulators that they're still using. That was a long time ago. A lot of these teachers had my daughter, and my husband went here. So there's a lot of history in my family with Tennessee High. I never honestly thought that I really wanted to be a principal. I was really happy I was an assistant principal. And when this opportunity came open, I thought, oh my goodness, I'm not really sure if I can do that. But then I thought, how fabulous would it be to be able to go back to, the school that really got me where I am now. So it means everything.
Any high school wants to become better, and so I think that's what kind of Tennessee High's been doing over the last few years, trying to do things to become better.
When I first came here, teachers were in various locations. So what I wanted to do was departmentalize. So now we have, for the most part, departments together.
I've been teaching a total of 22 years. Tennessee High School is a very evocative space. And if you know anything about teachers and classrooms, our classroom is our sacred space, but begrudgingly we did it and we didn't know why. But years later, I look back at that move as being one of the positive things that's happened here, because now my neighbors are teachers who teach the same subject as I do, and so her move was one to encourage conversation. Tennessee High School constantly changes, and that's a good thing.
When I first started in this business, I would pack up my books for the summer and I would leave and I would come back and I'd get the material out and I'd hit the road running. Now when I come in, what's changed?
As time goes on and we talk about renovations and improving Tennessee High, we never want that traditional look, or personally I don't, and a lot of people that I've spoken with never want to lose the traditional look and the feel of just what it's like to be on this campus, because I think it's a beautiful thing. The most memorable experience I had here as a student, goodness, I guess it's going to be plural, because we had so much pep and student, involvement when I was here, like big pep rallies, and we used to host a bonfire when we played Virginia High in the BT games. Some of the things that we had the most fun with, spirit-wise, students now really just don't know. So one conversation that we've had is, as time has gone on, high school students here seem to not really understand what it's like to be a spectator, or the pride that you bring when you come to events and the involvement. So we've talked about how can we change that? How can we really bring people in to teach us what true spirit is about and how we show that?
I've been noted to say, okay, we're going to have another pepless rally because it's difficult to get people out there. These pandemic times has attempted to crush our spirit. We have spirit here. But we've got some work to do.
Back when I was coming through here, not as many students had to work. I think we've seen a lot of students now that don't participate in extracurriculars because they have to work. And I think that's changed. I think that we don't have as many people that are able to come and enjoy extracurriculars. Maybe not so much participate, but also not come as a fan because they're working.
I have students who are working from 3 to 11 every day after school. Am I going to ask that student to do homework? They're choosing work over athletics, over other curricular activities, over band and chorus and things of that nature. That's a little unsettling to see people come in that have worked and closed at 11 or 12 o'clock, all of a sudden that becomes a priority. In my class or me, it becomes less a priority. I don't know that I've compromised that much, but I have attempted to work with students and say, listen, hey, you can take it online. You know, I'm going to leave it open. I'm going to publish it. It's on Canvas, and I'll work with you as much as I can.
The necessity of other things took priority over the necessity of, you know, kids going to school. You see that like during the Industrial Revolution too. If we can get kids aware of things that happened in the past, can we truly prevent it from ever happening again? Probably not, but we can be more aware of it happening again.
The students I meet today seem really prepared to solve the 21st century problems. But the positive side of that is I feel like when I look out and see our Tennessee high school students, I feel like that they have handled that adversity in a very mature way. That the benefit of that is they are now prepared to be the problem solvers.
Tennessee High is just a building. It's the students that come in.
So I feel very blessed that I was given the opportunity to come back and be able to be the administrator where, you know, I spent so much time and in a school I love.
Tennessee High School is a place that values learning.
Good place to live, great place to learn.